Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Mel. For those of you who do know me, welcome back. I'm going to be talking about why you get so overwhelmed all the time, why you get overwhelmed so easily. I'll be talking about if it's normal for you to be overwhelmed all the time. Just break it down, break down the overwhelming feeling that so many people feel today. First, I want to answer the question if it's normal for you to feel overwhelmed all the time. It's absolutely not normal. It's definitely common in society today because society praises like hard work. Society praises just being in this highly stressful state all the time and not having enough time to complete the things that you need to complete. Society has this like grind culture. Like I always hear people say I'll sleep when I die, or like they praise their work ethic because they work so hard. Even in our songs and stuff like that, like this is all we hear. This is all we hear, is all we see. So you likely think that it's normal for you to feel overwhelmed all the time, but it's not. It's not normal. Feeling overwhelmed all the time leads to a bunch of other issues that you will develop in the future if you're not experiencing them now. The reason why you feel so overwhelmed all the time is because our culture, our society praises this hard work, and so you think like you develop these beliefs that you have to sacrifice your time, or you got to sacrifice your health, you got to sacrifice something for the grind. And if you're not working hard, then in other words, you're not worthy. If you just, not a hard worker, you're not worth anything. People who feel this way, right? And people who live with this belief, which is most of us today, or most people in society today, because that's all we see, that's all we hear. So we think it's a normal, natural thing to be just like highly stressed and overwhelmed and exhausted all the time. And once you have this belief, once you form this belief, it gets ingrained in your mind. And so your work ethic, or how much you can do, how much you can give, what you can give, how often you give, like all that is tied to your sense of worth. It's like everyone who feels like they need to work hard, or who feels like they got to be overwhelmed, they got to be exhausted, they got to do everything for everybody else, take care of everything and everybody else but themselves, they don't feel worthy inside. Like you don't feel worthy inside. So you try to make up for it. You try to prove your worth by working hard, by trying to prove that you can take on all these tasks at your job, by trying to prove that you can take care of everybody, save everything, everybody else. And you end up overbooking your schedule. You end up overbooking your calendar. And you just left like feeling bad. You left feeling drained. You left feeling emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, feeling like it's nothing left for you. And this sense of overwhelm, like it's just this feeling in your brain, like your head is just about to pop off or something, because it's just being loaded up with all this stuff. Just loaded up with stuff, loaded up with unnecessary stuff. So when you carry that belief that you need to like sacrifice something for the grind, and deep down you feeling like you're not worthy, you're going to continue to work, or think that you gotta work to prove your worth. Since it's ingrained in your unconscious mind, and you got this subconscious belief that your worth is tied to how much you can do for other people, or how much you could do for your job, how much you could do for your family, your kids. If you have like family members or friends who always reach out to you for stuff, and it's just like, I don't have anything left. Like I don't have nothing left for myself. Of course you're gonna feel overwhelmed. Of course you're gonna feel stressed. You're not gonna have energy to do the things that you really want to do in your life. So if you like want to work out, if you want to eat right, if you want to develop certain healthy coping habits, or healthy habits in general, and you're overwhelmed all the time, you're not gonna be able to juggle all that. So you really got to challenge, like, what is most important to me? It has to be some balance. You can't just give everything. You can't give yourself physically. You can't give yourself emotionally. You can't give yourself financially. You can't just give and not expect to feel overwhelmed. especially if you're not recharging, you're not pouring back into yourself. If you don't get to a point where you feel like you're worthy, if you stay stuck in this belief that you gotta sacrifice something for the grind, if you stay stuck in this belief that it's normal for you to be overwhelmed, or like it's just the normal part of living in society today. No, don't accept that. Don't let nobody tell you that you have to be overworked, overwhelmed, you have to be exhausted, you have to be tired, because in the end it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. When you're overwhelmed all the time and you're always in this highly stressful state, that's when you start to develop different illnesses. You start to develop chronic illnesses, you develop anxiety, you develop depression, you develop physical issues that affect every single system in your body. So being overwhelmed all the time is stressful, right? So being overwhelmed all the time, feeling that stress all the time, it's going to make you overthink. It's going to make you anxious. It's going to make you depressed. It's going to make you feel drained. It's going to make you have zero energy. And when you keep yourself in that state, especially long term, a lot of people, when they're in this state, they just suck it up. They hold it in. They don't say nothing, but they just struggling like internally, secretly, trying to save everybody else. And when you do that and you just hold everything in and you don't find a way to take care of you, you don't find a way to not be overwhelmed, that's going to catch up with you. If you're not feeling anything now, you're going to feel it in the future. That is a given. Like, that's a guarantee. Because the longer you put your body through something, the longer you put your mind through something, that's going to show up. It's all adding up. And it's going to be a sum total of, it's going to be an accumulation. It's going to be an accumulation of all these feelings of overwhelm, all these feelings of stress. When you feel these negative emotions, they got to find a way to release. They got to find a way to get out. So that's when you start developing physical ailments. You start getting headaches, your memory is affected, your judgment is affected, you can't focus, your productivity is affected. And on top of that, it's placing you at risk for heart attacks, strokes, heart disease, high blood pressure. It's placing you at risk for stomach issues, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, IBS, body aches, pain. There's so many people who have pain. A lot of that pain is secondary to stress, is secondary to anxiety, and you being overwhelmed all the time. It affects your sexual drive. It literally affects everything. It affects your sleep. So, listen, being overwhelmed all the time, just to reiterate, it's not a normal thing. It's not normal. It don't gotta be your reality. And if you keep carrying that belief that you gotta sacrifice something, if you keep carrying that belief that being overwhelmed is normal, if you keep carrying that deep belief that you're not good enough, so you gotta like work to compensate or to make up for that, you're gonna keep falling into that overwhelmed, stuck feeling. And that feeling like your brain is just like, it's just like a tornado of things that you got to do, that you got to get done. And it's just like it's never ending. You won't be able to get through that tornado. You won't be able to be the calm in the storm. You won't be able to break free from that overwhelm, from all that heightened stress and all that, until those inside things are fixed, until your beliefs are fixed, until any emotions that you feeling that you're not dealing with, like those things gotta be taken care of. And it's not that you're just overwhelmed. Like, you're overwhelmed because of the way your brain is set up. Your brain is responding to stress at this heightened level. And your brain is just always on go. It's always on alert, thinking that something's gonna pop off, thinking that you are under a threat. Of course you're gonna feel overwhelmed. Your brain is literally working overtime. Your brain and your body is working overtime. When you feel overwhelmed all the time, this definitely has a negative impact on your mental health, your physical health, and your financial health, because now you're trying to buy things to feel calm, and you're trying to buy stuff to make you feel better or to make you feel good. A lot of people resort to retail therapy. People smoke, drink, smoke weed, smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, self-medicate. As long as you continue to do these things without fixing the real reason why you get so overwhelmed in the first place, without fixing what's internal, you're going to continue to attract that overwhelm. So the more you feel negative emotions, the more you feel negative emotions. Because your negative emotions literally become a practice habit. So if you think negative 95% of the time, your brain's going to keep giving you back that negativity. When you think negative thoughts, you feel overwhelmed. And it's just this cycle of overwhelm and just negativity and overthinking everything. And you're stuck in this cycle. You're stuck in this cycle. And you can't get out. You can't get out. I'm going to make a video, a detailed video about how to stop feeling overwhelmed all the time. Because I know y'all need it. I know most people today are always overwhelmed. And it's just not a fun place to be in. Because when you overwhelmed, you just, like I said, you're placing yourself at risk for all these things. It definitely takes a toll on your mental health, your physical health. There is more for you in life than being overworked, than being overwhelmed, than being drained and exhausted all the time. Like, you can't even spend time with your kids or your family because you're too exhausted. You feel like you got too much to do. This is not why you were placed on this earth, to just be in this heightened, overwhelmed, anxious, highly stressful state all the time. No. And I'm not going to let you do it. I ain't going to let you do it. You can get out of this overwhelm cycle. If that sound like you, like I said, I'm making a video about what to do if you always feel overwhelmed, because we got to stop this. Like, stop raising this. I'm not saying it's not okay to work towards the things you want to work towards, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're always stressed and anxious in the process, something got to change. Because if not, you're just working yourself into an early grave. That's what a lot of people are doing today. Just working themselves so hard to the point where they just, like, life expectancy is literally being cut down because people just aren't, like, they just don't care about their health. And it's like work is prioritized over their worth, over their lives. And that's not cool. That's all I got for you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. If you got any questions for me, you want to drop a comment below. If you have any questions that you have about your personal experience, or you want to share something about your personal experience, you can click that link below that says book a free strategy call here. We can get you some clarity, pinpoint exactly what's going on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye.